Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my home brew for Mechikabura Wish. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss a Dragon Ball Super video. And if you guys are looking for custom sleeves, custom playmats, any TCG accessories like that, go down to the description, check out the link to yourplaymat.com. The link there will get you 10% off your order, and it does help the channel out a lot. They sent me some awesome sleeves I've shown you guys on the channel before. Really high quality stuff. Anyways, that being said, let's get into the deck profile. Alright, so with Mechikabura Wish, I've talked about it in a few videos that I do think it's a really strong deck coming out of set 13, but I think it's a particularly tough deck to build. So I think it's gonna be a little while before people come up with the quote-unquote perfect build. There are so many cards in set 13, and there's so many good black cards in general that you can play in this strategy. It is pretty flexible in that way, and this is going to be the 50 cards that I've been most comfortable with, that I've seen the most success with. I really do like this build. Am I going to call it the perfect build? No, I'll never really do that with anything I build. I'll never call it perfect, but I think it is really good. Of course, I want to know what you guys think in the comments below about the build as we go through the profile. But anyways, quickly with the leader, you can only include up to 7 Dark Dragon Ball cards in your deck. Auto, when this card attacks, add up to 2 Dark Dragon Balls from your deck and or life to your hand, then shuffle any areas you look through. Wish, when you have 7 Dark Dragon Balls in your drop area, you may draw 1 card, switch up to one of your energy to active mode, and then your opponent sends 1 battle card from the drop to warp, and then flip this card over. Auto on the backside, not once per turn, which is important. When this card attacks, draw 1. Activate main once per turn. If all your energy is black and you choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck, choose 1. You can either choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less and negate its skills for the game, switch that card to active mode and gain control of it, or you can remove 7 Dark Dragon Balls from your drop, and this card gains triple attack for the turn. So again, I mentioned how the auto to draw is not once per turn, so when you gain triple attack, you'll be drawing 3 times, which is really cool. Plus, that's one of your ways to end the game, and we do run some cards that help bolster that ability. So you're not just like a 15k attacking 3 times. We'll see some cards later on that help bolster that effect. But anyways, for the Dark Dragon Balls, we're playing 4 copies of the Dark Empire Strikes Back and 3 copies of Yearning for the Dark Dragon Balls. Honestly, if I could play more copies of Dark Empire, I'd probably run 5, maybe 6, but you can only run 4. So we are playing 3 copies of Yearning for the Dark Dragon Balls, but Yearning for the Dark Dragon Balls is not bad by any means. A lot of this deck's early game does get shut down by Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, and just having general 1-drop removal is definitely not bad against things like King Cold and other decks that rely heavily on 1-drop. So it can be good. Plus, you can always just pitch it off of Dark Empire Strikes Back and draw 2 cards. So it's almost like it's a regular Dragon Ball that's just drawing you a regular card, if you guys remember the old Shenron Wish strategies. But anyways, this lineup is fine. I think it's really good for what the deck wants to do. And then for our early kind of like self-awakeners, we're playing 4 Demon God Toa Ritual at hand, 4 Salsa Ritual at hand, and 2 Shroom Ritual at hand. Now, from other builds I've seen, a lot of builds only play 8 of the Ritual at hand self-awakeners, 4 Salsa and 4 Demon God Toa. I'm just really comfortable with 10. I always want to make sure I can awaken on my terms when I'm ready to awaken. And the majority of the time, you can play these cards on turn 1, whether you went second, attacked with your leader, and got 2 Dark Dragon Balls. And it's not impossible either to just open the game with 2 Dark Dragon Balls, considering we play 7, right? One of the other techie cards I am playing is Mechikabura, the Broken Seal, for a few reasons. This card is a nice tech you can add in to help you out in best of 1 for several reasons. It's still really good against certain linear strategies like Dark Broly, maybe even Red Broly if you come across it. And then it has really good synergy with the deck, much like Mechikabura does with Dark Broly, where it just searches your Dark Dragon Balls. So if you play this on a turn 2, you know, maybe floodgate your opponent out of an important play, you can search a Dark Dragon Ball on that turn, and then search a Dark Dragon Ball on the following turn, assuming Mechikabura survived. I've liked it a lot. You're not going to want it every single game, which is why I only played 2 copies, but it is a tech card I've decided to include because of the good synergy and because it is really good against certain matchups. Next up for the SCR choice, we have 1 Heroine's Lineage. Now, I really like this card as the SCR of choice in this deck because 1, it's very cheap, which keeps the budget of the deck down for a lot of you guys. I know that really appeals to you. And 2, I think it's a really good card. And 3, it just kind of lends to the whole strategy of, you know, stealing battle cards and whatnot. So we are also playing 3 Ginyu Body Snatcher. Now, a lot of people look at this card and I think they will say it's like cute, gimmicky, a little bit too techy. I think it works excellently in the deck because it's a free 20k double striker when you get down to it. Yeah, it's a little bit weaker on your opponent's turn and it can die pretty easily, but you can really look at this card like Piccolo New Ruler, and we all know how powerful that card is in red decks, right? It's just basically a free 20k double striker that's essentially an overrealm. This is essentially the same thing. Like, you can constantly steal battle cards via your leader's effect. Granted, your opponent has to have valid targets, but a lot of the time they will. Or you can use Heroine's Lineage, steal a battle card, do what you have to do with it, and then put Ginyu the Body Snatcher right over it. I just think this is a really powerful way the deck can apply some additional pressure, so I've liked it a lot at 3. We're also playing 3 King Vegeta, A Kingdom Lost. Now, this is a card that I kind of want to play 4 of, but the fact that it has unique really deters me from playing 4. Don't get me wrong, I do want to play it on most turn 2s for its pseudo deadly defender effect. Also offers some nice removal. It's got barrier, double strike, all that good stuff, but the unique really does hold me back from playing 4, because in the matchups where it's going to live for a long time, which are a lot of your opponents like low to the ground spammy aggro decks, just drawing additional copies of King Vegeta can be pretty bricky. So I think 3 is pretty okay. The way that the deck works is you filter a lot with the Dark Dragon Balls, so you should be able to see it most turn 2s when you need it. 3 has been fine for me. I don't really think you need 4, but that's just my personal preference. Then for our game enders, we are playing 1 copy of SS4 Bardock fighting against Fates. I've seen a lot of Mechikabura lists that are a lot more Overrealm heavy, and I don't know, I don't really agree with it, to be honest. I do play a little bit of Overrealm in this deck. We'll see another one later on. But yeah, I really don't think you want to Overrealm, at least for like a game-ending play, until you've used your leader's ability to remove 7 Dark Dragon Balls from the drop. But once you do that, a card like SS4 Bardock is excellent. Helps put your opponent in that triple strike range for Dark Mask King. Helps put your opponent in double strike range for Dark King Mechikabura Power Restored. And we are going with a 2-2 split of the boss monsters here. Dark Mask King Devilish Dominator is just really good against like blue decks, for instance, like Blue Baby, that are going to be really good at stalling you out. That can be a problem for black decks like Mechikabura that aren't necessarily so aggressive that they can't end the game super early. This deck does want to play like a dragged out game more so than most other black decks. So Dark Mask King Devilish Dominator is really good at helping those out. And then Dark King Mechikabura is just the staple standard boss monster for the deck. Offers an awesome board wipe, which is really good. Allows you to pull some beaters out of your opponent's warp to play them to your field. Comes down for 4 energy. And it's protected as well from things like Frieza Charismatic Villain because it's an 8 cost. We're also playing 1 copy of Shenron the Wish Granter. This is one of the main cards I was talking about that allows you to bolster your leader's attack and stats, basically, so that you can get the most usage out of that triple attack from the leader. Now, a lot of games, I will say, don't really get to turn 5. A lot of them end around turn 4, and the occasional game will get to turn 5 depending on the matchup you're playing against. But yeah, if it was more of a slower format, I'd probably play 2 Shenron Wish Granter and not really treat it as like an SCR. But in this deck, you really can treat it like an SCR. Even if this format was a little bit slower, I think 1 could be okay. Again, maybe 2, but for the way the format is right now, I think 1 is absolutely fine. Some games you'll pull it off. A lot of games you probably won't, but it's still a good option when the leader-based win con is just, you know, the no-brainer. So I liked it a lot at 1. Then for the rest of the cards, we have 4 of our Demon God Toa offering a Dark Dragon Ball super combo. Honestly, I've been heavily contemplating just playing Vegeta. Like, the sparking is nice, but I'll usually take damage all the way down to 4 life, and if I were to do that, Vegeta would just offer me more filter and more draw power, and I could put dead cards to the bottom of my deck. But there are going to be some matchups like Invoker, for instance, where you don't really want to go super low in life and you want to defend high so that you don't just automatically lose to Catastrophic Blow. Just examples like that where the sparking is better. We're not really playing any cards that can search out this Toa super combo, so I could see this. I could see it being the Vegeta super combo, kind of a player preference thing there, depending on what matchups you expect to face. We are playing 2 Mass Saiyan Brainwash No More. Not an essential card for the deck by any means, but since we are playing a slower, grindier black deck, I wanted to have more like battle interruption that helps defend against certain random things like Cell Xeno, like Heartfelt Plea, just these different like big double, triple, and quadruple strikers that would give normal black decks a problem. But since we are a bit grindier, playing a bit of a slower game, I wanted to have a bit more interruption for that. We are playing 1 Super Kamehameha. It's been a really clutch card. I've been recommending a lot of players that are playing black decks, whether it's Vegex, whether it's Dark Broly, whether it's Gogeta Xeno. I've been recommending a lot of these players play 1 to 2 copies of Super Kamehameha in their main deck teched for best of 1. For things like Topo, for things like the Poutine in this deck that acts as a Topo, for Trunks Heroic Prospect, which that card can actually give us a problem in this deck because a lot of our boss monsters do come out, you know, for cheated costs. So super coming out, answering those floodgates is great. Plus, like, defensively, you can answer Piccolo Jr. Eradicator of Peace. The card has a lot of really great usage, and we are playing one Further Instruction Champa just in case we need to dump on a random battle card for game. We do have access to 1-drop 15Ks, so in like a simplified game state, we can just play one of those, attack, drop a Champa on it, do what we have to do. And then wrapping up the main deck for our Negate lineup, we are playing 4 Demon God Poutine Ritual at hand. This is one of the most important cards that allows us to play a slower, grindier game. Again, normally black is very, very aggressive. Dark Broly, Gogeta Xeno, Vegex, but this deck has some tools that allow it to play a bit of a slow, grindier game. Another one of those tools is Darkness Judgment, just pretty standard negate, but it also acts as like a defensive sensu bean for the deck. So that's good against certain matchups like King Vegeta, King Piccolo, Red Bardock's Crew, Vegex, just to low to the ground, spammy aggro decks. And we are playing 3 Power Bursts. Now, unfortunately, I'm not playing any targets to grab with Power Burst from the drop or warp. I do kind of wish that I was, but I feel like none of them just really lend to the deck all that well. Sure, you can main deck tech Dark Power Black Mass Sand, but I feel like the decks it's good against can just pretty easily remove it anyway. So I am using the Power Burst just as like the sparking negate if I have to tap out in a certain scenario. Let's say I'm at like 3 life or 2 life, my opponent hits me with a triple strike or a double strike. Power Burst kind of saves you in those scenarios, even though there's no 1-drop to grab back for it. But anyways, guys, that's my list. This is the one that I've been liking. I do want to know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.